Hey everybody, this is Calvin Waite. I trade crypto for a living. I'm not a registered or licensed financial advisor, planner, or broker, so nothing on this channel should be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell. I also trade all of these things, so I probably have a vested interest in there. But there's plenty of entertainment value and lots of education, so this will be awesome. For those of you who didn't know, my subscription channel is live. So look at the link in the description over at cryptoinfluencers.com and you can see how I make all of my trades and what I do and what I think about everything. This channel is for more hypothetical and looking at trends, and the other one is for actual trading, so you might be interested in that. Good morning, everybody. This is quite the day. We've got the FOMC meeting. Markets are essentially in a standstill, waiting for news of whether we're increasing rates by 75 basis points or 100, and so everyone seems to be waiting on that news. But very strange that the markets are moving up. S&P is slightly up. I'll zoom in a teeny bit, like we open a little higher and it's sort of in a tight trading range. Bitcoin, since yesterday, has done some climbing. So it's very, very interesting. It's like people have chosen a side before it's even begun. But today's going to be emotional. When that meeting comes out, as of recording, we have 3 hours until that meeting happens. And last time we had this just wild zigzag, just up and down, and then it finally just dumped off. And I think it was one of these days that just had a big, bad sell-off day. And so everyone's kind of bracing for the worst. But I really, really, really think that this candle right here is a local bottom. I just think it is. Let's see if I can draw that better. Yeah. So I just think it's a local bottom. This is a very, very unusual. It's very, very strange to see something spike out of our trading range. And last night on the Pro channel, I went over this in great detail. But what I think is happening is I think we are having a Wyckoff accumulation. I want you to look at the shape of this chart. This was the top of our bull market cycle. We had a very strong rejection, and then we had this accumulation phase, but it's almost a redistribution. And the reason I got scared throughout this period was that we were going up, but we were showing weakness. Like there wasn't a strong bounce here. And finally, when we returned and fell out of the bottom of our channel, we were in trouble. But this was a period of time that from our kind of bottom, this mark here to essentially our fallout, it was 101 days. So this was the length of our situation. We are now at 95. So the distance between our initial fall and our continuation is about the same. We've had a very long consolidation at the bottom. Now, what's the difference between the shape of this and the shape of this? The shape here is much more, it's a gradual increase. This is a bear flag for sure. It's a gradual rise in price, but it can never get up off of it couldn't break out of the channel to the upside. It broke to the downside, and that's where the distance from here to here is the distance from here to here. And so we got down into this bottom section. Well, this channel is flat. There is a very, very defined trading range. And what's even more unusual about this trading range is the fact that we have a candle body that's here, and we found support off of that candle body until this move here. And we actually closed below the candle body. And then we had this move here, which was essentially, I think it is going to make a local bottom. This is such a bullish candle that even though we had a red day yesterday, I think that today we're moving up. and I kind of feel like today's news, because it's funny how the price happens first and then the news, the price happens first and then everyone blames the news on it. And so whether we end up going down or up, it'll be because of this event, the rates meeting. But I kind of feel like the chart has spoken. And so if we fall out and go below this low, which is 18,250 or 260, if we go below this, it's like the world's not gonna make any sense because this is such a bottom candle that no matter what the news, the chart structure should hold. And let me just add this. I'm going to show you this that I was showing the people in the Pro channel yesterday. This is a Wyckoff. This is the Wyckoff accumulation, and I want you to see how similar this is to what we're dealing with. We have our drop to our initial selling climax right here. We come back to our natural kind of the automatic rally, which creates a trading range. So the bottom of the selling climax, not the tip, but the candle body, and the top of our trading range here creates our trading range. We're in this trading range, and you'll see how we have moments where we pop above, and it's to test to see if there's any, how many more retail people we can kind of trick into to giving up as whales dump it back down. And what happened? We went up through our trading range. In fact, this 200 weekly moving average was essentially playing a lot of emotional as far as breaking above a trading range. So we did this, and then we came back down. And what's the next thing? In phase B, we go below our prior climax. And this is designed to scare out retail. This candle body closed below our selling climax candle body. You can see that. So we went a little bit below. This is absolutely textbook. And in fact, the shape of this entire thing is textbook. Look how this has done this. But what the whales that are using Wyckoff, they create these little breaks of support. This little break of support. And then this here is what I think is our spring. I think the spring, which is a quick move outside. So I'll read this little thing. It just says, springs usually occur late within a trading range. So we've been in a trading range for 90 days, and we finally see this kind of emotional drop. So checkbox. It occurs late within a trading range. It allows the underlyings dominant players to make a definitive test of available supply before a markup campaign unfolds. A spring takes price below the low of the trading range. Here's the low of our trading range right here. We popped below it and then reverses to close within the trading range, which we did. This action allows large interests to mislead the public about the future trend direction and to acquire additional shares or coins at bargain prices. So what has happened is that whales try to make things as emotional as possible. And what happens is they will, when everyone's kind of spent emotionally on the price and the trading range and what the future is and everything else, they'll do these tiny little things to push price outside and then they'll flip the script really quickly and fake people out, and then flip the switch again. But this spring is absolutely picture perfect. It is exactly this spring. What happens after the spring? We pop back up, and then we come back down and test our trading range again. What are we doing right now? So today's, now that you've got the information, I can zoom in a little closer. We had this drop yesterday, and it is exactly what happened here. We popped up out, we went back down to test the lower support of the trading range. I think we are seriously exiting phase C. I just think we are. It just looks absolutely perfect. The question is, what will happen during this highly emotional, because whales love the emotional insanity of big news events. And everyone in crypto, everyone in the stock market, everyone that's investing and trading, they're all going to be listening to this thing that happens at 2 o'clock Mountain. I'm not, so it's like 4 o'clock Eastern time. And they're going to be really volatile. They're going to expect that the outcome of that meeting is going to direct, the next leg of this entire thing. Well, we've gone down, we've established a bottom, we've got a spring. I just don't see it dropping off. I know lots of people are screaming that we're going to 13,000 and 12,000 and 10,000, but the shape of this accumulation is completely different than the shape of this accumulation. And you can tell that just because this is so textbook on a Wyckoff accumulation, it kind of teaches you who's in charge of this market. It used to be that hedge funds were pushing markets around, and they did back in 2017, and then the drop after that and all of that. It was all, it was big money, but not that big. Now we're talking about BlackRock, and we're talking about these huge funds that are, multi-trillion-dollar funds that are trading and involved in crypto. And these guys are experts at this. They're experts at this. And they will try to take people out of their positions. It's their, all of these large candles that happen, they're all designed to shake out people from their positions. So anyway, I am holding on tight, and I just think that we're there. I think that we're nearing the end of our phase C, and we're just about to enter phase D, and this should be higher supports and tests of our high. So if in the next month we start getting anywhere above like 22,000, this would be our local high, then we'll know exactly what's happening. And then the markup phase is next. But yeah, I mean, it's very nerve-wracking, and it's meant to be that way. It's very, very, very challenging. But when we retested the lows last night, and then I woke up to a green day, I was like, oh my goodness, I think we really did have our test after our spring. I think we're just totally in phase C, guys. So, markets can do whatever they want. I'm only looking at the greater than 50% possibility of what's happening. And I think this is the case. I think the greater than 50% chance is that we are moving upward. And so anyway, this is all playing out on Bitcoin because it has the most money involved in it. But there's also, Ethereum is sort of following along the path of Bitcoin. As far as Ethereum goes, I think we're in for a local bottom as well. I can see the shape of this losing its steepness. Usually things will drop off and come to a head, and then they'll bounce. Or in the cases of more shallow bottoms, you'll see that the candles get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then they have a rise. So there are two ways that these things can bottom. And after we've had a couple of nice long moves, especially this technical bounce off of the 200 week, I think we're starting to flatten out. And if we do, and also if we get any kind of support from Bitcoin, we might be in for a little bit of a local bottom. And if Ethereum can bottom out here above this resistance line here, flipped to support. So if we find support here, we've got the perfect handoff between resistance and support, and we're ready to move on to the next phase as far as Ethereum goes. So it's really kind of a critical point in crypto, but I think that the pattern is it's a little bit evident. So with these two things, the rest of the market's going to follow. And some of the other positions that I've been looking at, there's nothing that's really showing, nothing that's huge news out there in the market. Everything is sort of, positive and negative, waiting for the outcome of this. So really there's no alts to talk about today. But yeah, it's unbelievable. I will be very curious if the news comes out in 3 hours and it causes us to break below this low. I will be so surprised. It will be like it almost won't make sense. It's going to make me question. But if we get volatile and we move all over the place, that's probably the typical outcome. If we move upward rapidly, that would be less likely. So the most likely scenario is that we just get volatile and we just kind of stay flat. That's what I'm expecting. Next, most likely is that we actually do pump a bit. The whales, they've taken their spring, they've done their test, and they're going to take the opportunity to move prices up. So that's the second most likely case. And the third, the least likely case, I think, is that we break below this low. I just don't even see it. I don't even see it intraday. I think we've had our spring. We've had the most bullish candle that we've seen since this one here. And I just think it'll hold. These patterns, it's as plain as day. It's not guaranteed, but it's just the highest probability that we have a local bottom here. So I guess we'll all find out in 3 hours whether I'm right or not. I'm sure everyone's going to be watching that. So we will check in tonight with the Pro Channel and talk about the close. And otherwise, we'll do an analysis and talk about what happened tomorrow. All right, everyone, have a great afternoon. Thanks for making it to the end of my video. Make sure you keep those trades small. Don't force a trade. Don't get impatient. And if you want to see how all this works, please come over and check me out on the subscription channel at cryptoinfluencers.com. Again, the link is in the description.